Hello, everybody. It's that college football guy. It's Bill here with part 3 of the Big Ten prediction videos. We're talking Northwestern, we're talking Ohio State, we're talking Oregon, we're talking Penn State. This one's one of the more loaded ones. And I know there's a lot of subscribers who have interest in all of these schools. So, shall we get into this? All right, let's talk Northwestern. Can we say about the fact of what a great job David Braun did last year? A team with Pat Fitzgerald's situation, 1 win, takes the same team, no prep, and goes 8-5, beating Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl. Incredible. Just can he match that up? The problem is that's how do you top it? I mean, it's tough. I mean, Vegas only has your win total of 5.5. So, Zach Lujan, I hope I'm saying this right. He comes in as your new offensive coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator at South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, the FCS champs. They put up a lot of points. How else is that going to translate into the FBS and particularly into the Big Ten? Biggest concern I have with Northwestern. Who's your starting quarterback? I mean, we got what? You know these names here. Holinsky, Lausch, Gray, and Wright. 4 people battling for the starting job. We still don't know for sure who's the starter. That's an issue. Running back room, solid. Wide receivers, solid and experienced. Offensive line, they sucked. I can't do this because the fact that I looked at the numbers. Where was the pass protection? 0, nothing. It seemed that way. Okay, it's like just wow. That's got to improve. Defensive line, solid. Hopefully, it can improve. Linebacker room. They made all the plays last year. They're gonna be expected to do it again this year. And I wrote this guy's name down, Xander Muller. He hit anything that moved. He was all over the place. Is he going to have to be that guy again? We'll see. Defensive backs. This is where the weakness of the defense is the fact that your safeties are all right, but all your starting corners are gone. How well the players, plus the way you picked up in the portal, how well is that all going to blend in the secondary? That's going to be big. So the defensive line doesn't do a pass rush, it's going to leave that secondary out to dry. All right, so shall we get into this? Let's talk about the season for Northwestern. You start off the season at home against Miami of Ohio. Yeah, you're getting a win. And you stay at home. Actually, your first 3 games were at home. Home again against Duke. If you watch the ACC prediction videos, you know this one already. You beat Duke at home. Then you stay at home against Eastern Illinois, FCS school. Yeah, you're going to beat them. Then you go on the road at Washington. Now, first time they played in a long time. You look at the scores and everything else. You look at how this is done. I see, but I just look at now. Washington's in flux. There's the new staff. There's the new everything. But the simple fact is, I just don't see you have enough talent to beat them, and you're across country on the road. So I got to pick Washington to beat you. Then you have the bye. You come out of the bye at home against Indiana. Saw part 1, you know this. You win the game. Then you're on the road at Maryland. Again, if you saw part 1, you know this. You're losing that game. Then you're at home against Wisconsin. This one I kind of was like, can Northwestern do it? Right here. You beat them by 14 on the road last year. In a game that shocked a lot of people. Everybody is back, coach-wise, both in their second year now. How well is this going to go? And I think Wisconsin has more talent, so I'm going to pick Wisconsin, steady your quarterback. They're going to beat you at home. And then you go on the road at Purdue. Purdue is a terrible team. And you beat them by 8 at home. But for some reason, I can't. This is the game where, based upon the schedule of what's happening next, where you were, this is a trap game for you. You just faced Wisconsin and Maryland. You have a bye week, and you come out of the bye facing Ohio State. Could you be looking ahead and planning ahead? You're going to go on the road, and you're going to lose to Purdue because of that. Then you have the bye, home against Ohio State. Yeah, they're going to be beating the brakes off of you. That's a loss. You're on the road at Michigan next. If you saw part 2, you already know this. You're losing to Michigan. You finish the season at home against in-state rival Illinois. If you saw part 1, you know this. You beat Illinois to be 5-7 in conference, 5-7 overall, 2-7 in conference. The elephant in the room is next, the Ohio State Buckeyes. 11-2 last year. You lost to Missouri in the Cotton Bowl. It's just wow. The players opted out, but it was like, geez. Ryan Day, 56-8 at Ohio State. Incredible. And then comes the offensive coordinator situation. Your former mentor, your former boss, you hire him away from being the head coach at UCLA to be your offensive coordinator. I still want to know what happened in that conversation. But Chip Kelly's your OC, and that offense is going to be crazy. And now you have a quarterback. You have Will Howard coming in from Kansas State. He's not officially been named the starter, but he's definitely a leader in the clubhouse. Problem was last year, everybody was keyed around Marvin Harrison Jr. because that was the offense. Marvin's not back, but the problem is Will didn't have, when he was at Kansas State, he didn't have that like Marvin Harrison, or even somewhat, a little bit closer to, like, close-ish to Marvin Harrison level player at Kansas State. It's not sliding into Kansas State players, just Ohio State has more talent. But he made it work. So this is going to be another day at the office for him. I think they'll do just fine. Running back room, every single room, offensively or defensively, is stacked on this team. I mean, are there any concerns? Yeah. I mean, who's going to fill in for Marvin Harrison, the wide receivers? I mean, running backs are stacked. Offensive line. There is some turnover there, but how well can they gel together? That's going to be a concern. The defensive line is going to be an absolute beast. They're going to destroy some people. Linebacker room, unfortunately, I think it's going to take a step back because they're younger. But can they, by the end of the season, be close to that level from last year? We'll see. The defensive backs, they have the potential to be something special. And if the pass rush of the defensive line comes in, it's really going to help them out on the back end. So that's something to look out for. So right now, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Ohio State's schedule. Non-cons, last year you did great. This year, you do better next year. Home, 3 games, non-cons. First 3 played with a bye in there. Home against Akron, that's a win. What's the final score going to be, 75-0? Home against Western Michigan, that's a win. Then you get a bye. Home against Marshall. Marshall's going to put up a bit of a fight, but they're going to get blown out. Then you're on the road at Michigan State. If you saw video part 2, you already know you're beating Michigan State. You're home against Iowa next. You saw part 1, you know this. You're at home, you're beating Iowa. Then comes potentially a candidate for Game of the Year. College Game Day will be there. Ohio State travels to Oregon. This game is going to be something else. And I just looked at the fact of Oregon's going to be at home. They got on there. They have advantages. Do they have enough? Do they have enough to beat Ohio State? And I'm like, no. It's going to be damn close. Could Oregon beat them? Absolutely. But right now, I gotta side with Ohio State. Then you get a bye. Now you're going to play your last 6 games. No break. Come out of the bye at home against Nebraska. You saw part 2, you know. You get the win there. On the road at Penn State. Happy Valley. I would love if this is a night game, but I highly doubt it will be. It's going to be a middle-of-the-day game, which favors Ohio State. And the question is that can Penn State's offense keep up with Ohio State? And I don't think so. I really don't. I wish they would. I really wish they would. But I just don't think they can keep up with them. They're going to get the win over Ohio State beats Penn State. Then you're home against Purdue. Yeah, that's a win. On the road at Northwestern. Literally just talked about this. You're going to beat Northwestern. Then you're home against Indiana again. Part 1, you saw this. It's a win. And then finish the season at home against Michigan. Part 2, you know this. They win. I'm saying this for the record. Michigan is nowhere near the team they were last year, and you're absolutely loaded in every capacity. If Michigan beats you this year, this isn't talent related, this is psychological related, this is Ryan Day, and he needs counseling or something. Because there's no excuse for losing to him this year. So if you paid attention, Ohio State, 12-0, 9-0 in conference. Now we're talking about the Oregon Ducks. 12-2 last year. Both losses were to Washington. You beat Liberty in the Fiesta Bowl. The only G5 school that got a New Year's Six invite. Dan Lanning, 22-5 in 2 years at Oregon. Is it crazy to say the fact that the quarterback room at Oregon from this year could be better than last year's? Yes, you don't have Bo Nix, but you have Dylan Gabriel and Dontre Moore. As a whole, I think the quarterback room is going to be better than last year's. Running back room, solid. It's going to be just every position group on the thing, basically, on this team, is good to great. All of them have great defensive, have great depth, except for the defensive backs. There's a lot of newcomers in the secondary. How else that can affect the team? The defensive line, pass rush, got to improve. So you have a subpar pass rush with an inexperienced newcomer newcomer secondary. That spells a lot of problems. All right, what's it going to be for Oregon? Starts off your season at home against the powerhouse of Idaho. Yeah, you're beating Idaho. Then you're going home again against the other Idaho school, Boise State. I know there's a lot of Boise fans who would love for this to happen, but I'm sorry. You're not beating Oregon, Boise. Oregon's going to beat you. Then you're on the road against Oregon State, the former Civil War. I thought of this, you're going on the road. I mean, Oregon State, you beat them by 24 at home last year. Oregon State is not the team they were last year. They were a lot more talented, and you've got more talent. You're beating them on the road this year. Starting off 3-0. Then you get your bye. Start off conference play on the road at UCLA. Now, this is a former Pac-12 matchup, but you didn't play each other, actually, last year. And let's look at the fact that Oregon's just got too much talent, even though it's a road game. I'm picking you to win that game. Home against Michigan State. True first Big Ten opponent. If you watch part 2, you know the fact you beat Michigan State. Then home against Ohio State. I just talked about this. You're losing to Ohio State. On the road at Purdue. Major talent. Even though it's on the road, major talent advantage for you. You're going to beat Purdue. Home against Illinois next. Saw part 1. You already know. You're beating Illinois. I mean, just whatever. Then it's on the road at Ann Arbor at Michigan. This is going to be a tough little game here. But you're going to beat them and beat Michigan on the road. You just saw that for William part 2. Maryland at home next. And in fact, this was in part 1. You know this, you won that game. Then you're on the road at Wisconsin. This is a game I struggle with because if you hadn't noticed, Wisconsin is their 8th game in a row they're playing. No bye. And you're on the road. I was like, man, if there's going to be a game that's going to be an upset that Oregon's going to lose a game they shouldn't lose to, this would be it. But you know what? I don't think you do. I think with all of that, it's going to be a closer game than some people think, but you're going to beat Wisconsin. Then you come out of the bye, your second bye, and finish the season at home against Washington, the team that beat you twice last year. For the fact that this is some revenge. This game you will be keyed up for. Without a doubt. And now, on the road at Washington. Played them last year. Lost twice last year. Don't like the taste in your mouth? You're going to solve that problem, and you're going to beat Washington this year. I just don't see it happening. So that puts Oregon at 11-1, 8-1 in conference. Now, next up, we're talking about the lovely residents. Final school in our forward here, the residents of Happy Valley, the Penn State Nittany Lions. They were 10-3 last year. You lost to Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl. James Franklin, he's been a good coach, borderline great, but not. You know, it just hasn't been enough. It's 10-2, 10-2, 10-2, 10-2. Win total for Penn State's 9.5. Did I mention Oregon's win total? I don't think I did. Oregon was listed at 10.5. The big difference is going to be for Penn State is Andy Kotelnicki. I hope I'm saying his name right. He is their new offensive coordinator. The former offensive coordinator of Kansas. How well is that going to translate? We're going to see about that. Drew Allar. He has to continue to improve. He has to be better. His accuracy at times has been MIA. He has been accurate and has his spots, but the problem is, I look at it this way. Accuracy, mid-range, downfield. Dinking and dunking is easy. Accuracy, downfield. That's where he needs to work on it. Running back room, stacked. It's going to be crazy. Wide receiver room, solid. They have a lot of newcomers in from the portal, but they should be a very solid unit as a whole. The offensive line, though, this is where the problem could be. Only one starter returns for Penn State. So they're in flux, transfer portal players. How well are there going to be cohesion to get the team together? That's going to be a concern. Defensive line. I think they're going to take a small step back because of people who left for the NFL, transfers and whatnot. But the question is that they camped out in the opponent's backfield. They were there. Can that continue? Can you continue that penetration? We're going to see. Linebackers, the defensive backs are solid. Linebacker room. I'm going to go on a limb here. This room has the potential to be one of the greatest linebacker rooms that they ever have if everybody plays up to their potential. Because I look at this and this group could be absolutely scary to terrifying if they crank it up. That's going to be something to worry about. So, what's going on with Penn State? Well, you start off the season on the road at West Virginia. And a lot of people saying, from Penn State fans have had, they're DMing me on Twitter on X. We're going to win by 40. No, you are not. I'm telling you right now, you are not beating West Virginia by 40 on the road. It is a game that's going to be tough for you. They want to prove a point and possibly pull off a big upset. They know this is a game that matters. It's going to be a tougher battle for you. This is less than 10 points. Would not shock me at all, but I'm going to still have you beating West Virginia, Penn State. You're going to beat West Virginia. Then your next game is at home against Bowling Green. Yeah, that's a win. Then you get a bye, and you're at home again against Kent State, another MAC school. Another easy win. Then you start off conference play at home, against Illinois. If you saw part one, you know this is going. You're winning that game. You're at home next against UCLA. You have more talent than UCLA, plus they're coming cross-country. Cross-country travel has importance. You're like 75 to 80% of what you normally would be when that jet lag and everything else hits you, and just puts you a little bit sluggish. That's a real thing. So you're going to win that game. But now the reverse comes to you. Now you got to travel on the road and face Southern Cal. And I think the same thing that helped you is what's going to hurt you this week. You're the one who's going to be sluggish. You're the one who's going to be tired. And I'm going to have USC beating you. Then you have a bye. You come out of the bye. Hold on. At Wisconsin. Wisconsin's going to be improved, but talent-wise, they're just not there. They're not in Penn State's league, so I'm going Penn State to win. Then you're at home again against Ohio State. Just did that. That's a loss. You're home against Washington. I have my notes for Washington here. There's also travel issues. Washington's traveling cross country. You're staying at home. I'm going to pick you to win that game there. At Purdue is your next game, and Purdue is I'm not going to go there. Not going there. Not going there. Trash. It seems like. I have major questions about Purdue, and that video will be coming up. But you're going to beat Purdue. Then you're on the road at Minnesota. If you saw part 2, you already know this. You're winning that game. And then you finish the season at home against Maryland. Tough matchup. You watch part 1. You already know this. You beat Maryland. So that puts you at 10-2. 7-2 in conference. So, time for you to tell me. What do you think? What do you think of my predictions? Again, to recap, I got Northwestern going 5-7, 2-7 in conference. I got Ohio State 12-0, 9-0 in conference. I have Oregon 11-1, 8-1 in conference, and I have Penn State 10-2, 7-2 in conference. So, what games did I get right? What games did I get wrong? I need you to let me know all of this down in the comments. So again, the paperwork up here. Thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't done it already, do me the favor, please smash the like button, hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Helps the video be seen by more people. Comment on the video, like on those 4 teams here. What do you disagree with? Let me know. Okay? Let me know about that. But they should be doing good. Like, comment, share the video. If you like my channel, check out some of the ones I've done. Subscribe to the channel. The reason I'm cutting this a little bit short is I got a guy ready to back up into me right now. And he may hit me. So I'm going to cut this kind of short. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I just had to redo this video because a guy came over here and he rubbed on the mirror. And I got a guy ready to come over here this way and he may be doing the same thing. It's tight here. So thanks everybody for watching. I said if you have challenged my thinking about the schedules, let me know in the comments. Thanks everybody for watching. Be safe out there. Part 4 tomorrow. Be safe and please be good to each other.